What's going on, everybody? It's your boys with No Days Off DFS, here to give you guys a quick DFS builder video. So I did a long video last night in regards to the actual breakdown, going over every single game. Today, this one right here is going to be a shorter video, condensed for you guys. So if there's any position spots or something like that you have questions, or just how am I building on today's slate and whatnot, hey, I'm not gonna restart. I'm gonna keep that in here. I'm gonna keep it in here. I got the wife in the background. She decided she wants to check a little something. So for everybody watching that's $1.99. Drop it down in the comment section. Make sure you guys go ahead and send them tips and stuff on the way. That's $1.99 for the little shake and bake that you guys just saw. Anyway, looking at the looking at the slate real quick, some updated injury news. Monique Billings game time decision. We saw that she missed the last game. Tiffany Hayes' game time decision as well. If Tip is back, that's going to mess with Veronica Burton and just a little bit of the value that we can have coming off the bench over here for the Golden State Valkyrie. Baby Sabley, she is questionable over here for the New York Liberty. Right there, if Sabley's going to be out, then we're going to see a tighter rotation in regards to the bigs that we have in Brianna Stewart, Jonquil Jones having to be out there. Maybe a bump in a couple of minutes for JJ out there at the center, and then I would imagine we have to see Stewie play the backup five. For Dallas, Misha Hines-Allen is on the injury report. If she's out, I imagine that we would have to see Big T slide into the starting lineup. Like, it's just no choice right there in regards to that. And we know Big T, when she gets the minutes, she definitely can dominate. And I think she would be pretty good in this matchup going against Tina Charles and Olivia Nelson-Ododa, being able to go out there and do some work. Over here at Lindsay Allen, game time decision. I'm not worried about that at all. Seattle, clean bill of health. Once again for them. Minnesota, Kayla McBride, again, she practiced with the team the other day. Possible for her to be back and playing today. For the Atlanta Dream, we already know that Brittany Griner and Canada are going to be out today. Along with that, Pow Pow is back and expected to play. Now, this right here, I do kind of wonder if we're going to actually have Pow in the starting line, because they played so well with Cadwell in the starting line. And Cadwell already plays a good chunk of minutes off the bench. I wouldn't mind seeing Pow come off of the bench. I really wouldn't. But Pow, she's still good. She's a great player. But definitely just keep an eye on that starting lineup if they decide to shake it up and just take Pow out of the starting line. For the Sparks, Rakia Jackson, game time decision, expected for her to play. She's supposed to be back from a concussion. So we should see her slide back in the starting lineup. And I believe Hatter or Baker, it's one of those two, that was originally in the starting line. She's going to end up coming out of the starting line since Rakia Jackson should be back. For the Sky taking on the Phoenix Mercury, really no news that we got to worry about over here. Haley Van Liff still hasn't gotten her shine, but she's a game time decision for her. And then for the Phoenix Mercury, Musa, she's the only one that's going to be a game time decision. Now heading on over here to DraftKings, just looking at the slate and how it shakes out. For me, straight up, the big news is that I want to know if Maya Cadwell is going to actually be in the starting line and if she's going to be playing. Because when you look at it, Cadwell, for her price, I'm spelling your name wrong. When you look over here for her, which for whatever reason, why am I not seeing Maya Cadwell? That's weird. I can't spell this morning. But Maya Cadwell, she's 3K. She's the bare minimum, bare bone. And if she actually starts again and plays these high minutes like what she's played over the last couple of games, it would be hard for me to ignore her. But right now, just because that news is up in the air and the game isn't until 9, I'm going to go with what I know is already safe. And for me, the prime value option that's already going to be on the slate, and it's from Atlanta, is going to be Nia Coffey, 4,100, sliding right back into the starting line. And she played pretty well in that start that she had the last time. And she's been putting up close to a fantasy point per minute when she's been out there on the court anyway. So that 4,100, that's going to be your big value on today's slate right there. Now, all right, with that being at your 4 position, that kind of tends to make me want to pay up at my guard position. And there's a couple of guards that I do think have some pretty decent avenues to getting there for us. Looking at the guard position up at the top, of course, Kelsey Plum, she looks really good. She possibly could be a lower owned play today in regards to you got Enrique and Paige Becker, who are right there in the same position, and Skylar Diggins-Smith, who's been playing amazing as well. I will say that Kelsey Plum, I like her for a GPP leverage play. The spot going up against Atlanta, I know Atlanta has guarded guards pretty well, especially seeing what they did versus Caitlin Clark and things of that nature. But Plum running off the screens and everything that she can do, I still think Plum possibly could get there. We still have seen that a couple of the guards going up against the Atlanta Dream still were able to go out here and have decent days whenever you look at it. Plum, decent matchup, good spot, and she actually played pretty decent when she was on the Aces last season going up against him. Paige Becker was able to go out here and drop 27 fantasy points. Clayton Clark, I know the down game Clark had was 25 fantasy points. And then Sanaya Rivers, for whatever reason, she's considered the point guard over here on Connecticut. Whenever I look at the stats and seeing who's done what versus this team, she went out there in 29 minutes, only had a measly 8 fantasy points. But none of these guys are Kelsey Plum, who should be able to go out here and have a decent name. Brittany Sykes dropped 37 fantasy points versus them. And Caitlin Clark, she dropped 56 besides the dud stinker that she had in the second game. Kelsey Plum, I like the upside for possibility of a big game. Now, if you don't want to mess with Plum, definitely Paige Becker. I would rather play Paige over Arike when it comes down to it. And then the last GPP option for me would be fading Skylar Diggins-Smith coming out here to Courtney Williams. Now, that's the studs, the top tier options right here at the guard position that I can see myself going with. But instead, if I come down here to the mid tier option, which really for me, everyone that is right here at that 9-5 coming down until I get to that 8-9-ish range, I really don't have too much interest in. All those would be like just maybe, Sabrina Ionescu would be the best one out of all that right there for me. But I'd rather come down here to the Natasha Cloud. 8,500 just looks cheap to me, especially for the way that she's been playing, what she's been doing going up against them. And the Golden State Valkyrie are surrendering a ton of fantasy points to opposing point guards. Kelsey Plum popped off for 30 fantasy points versus them in the second game, 59 in the first game. Brittany Sykes dropped 44 versus them in her game going up against the Golden State Valkyries. So imagine Natasha Cloud, who can go out there and get those steals, who is playmaking quite a bit and showing that she has some scoring chops out there as well. I love the upside, 8,500. She's going to be 9K sooner or later. It's just only a matter of time. Now, again, the pivot would be, hey, play Sabrina, who possibly can go out here and have a big game scoring wise and maybe give us some more of those peripherals and things like that instead of it going to Cloud. That would be the pivot right there. But Cloud, I just love the position in the spot and just the upside that she honestly could give me. Outside of that, Ariel Atkins would be GPP option right there. We can go to. Really not looking towards Burton or any of these other players, Erica Wheeler, Courtney Vandersloot. None of those really are interesting. Instead, I would rather come down here again to these lower tier options that we can go to. The value right here. Sanaya Rivers is in a really great spot going up against Dallas. She truly, really is. She's coming off of a stinker of a game, but she's shown me that she has to me, the floor now is 10. The ceiling, the upside is 30. Going up against the weak Dallas Wings defense, she's in a prime position and spot to do what everyone else has done. Alicia Gray, 50.25 fantasy points. Courtney Williams, 29 fantasy points in the second game, 44 in the first game. Skylar Diggins-Smith, 38 fantasy points. Her athleticism, her ability to get downhill, and if the three-point ball can actually fall, I think can give us a really great outing and upside for her here in this position. And then not to mention, she got a really great tenacity on the defensive side. Sanaya Rivers makes for a really great option. Love the upside position spot. It just seems in the scream like it's going to be low owned, good GPP upside type play. Julie Van Loo, not really too interested right there. Barker, Burton, Sammy Whitcomb, Lexi Brown. None of those players really are anything that I feel like we have to get to. Now going on over here to the 4 position. The decisions that you got to make up here is going to be at the top. Are we playing Fee? Are we playing Big Sabali? Are we playing AT, Stewie, Hamby, NECA, Tina Charles? Like all these 10K and up players, they all have great position spot. Fee to me, of course, is going to be low owned again unless the value comes there where you're going to get Cadwell and then, okay, hey, I can play whatever forward studs I want to play. I still think you need to sit back, look at it. Fee, it's a good spot, but I'm going to be very honest. I can get the same upside right now, kind of, in the exact same spot for MVP player Nneka Ogwumike. She's playing amazing. 10-3 seems a bit cheap for what she has been doing, and I like the upside. Outside of that, I got Brianna Stewart, who possibly is going to be playing some backup 5 minutes because Sabali might be out as well. We haven't had that super big Stewie pop-off game, and what better position and spot for a Stewie double-double than a game where she's probably going to have to play that backup 5, get those reps and stuff like that. Know that we can get her to go out there and score 30 if she actually decides and wants to. I wouldn't mind that right there. Now, I will say if I'm going to play Stewie or JJ or anything like that, I'm probably not going to play Cloud. That's going to be my little take on that right there. AT and Sabali, both of these guys, they're in pretty great spots, but I will say that Alyssa Thomas versus Chicago, she played Chicago pretty well all last season when she was over there on the Connecticut Sun, and I just think that this is going to be a decent spot where she can go out here and force her will and do that once again. versus Chicago last season. She only had one game where she only dropped 20 something fantasy points, but I want to say she was in foul trouble that game right there. But then after that, next 2 games, she dropped 40 plus fantasy points, and we have seen it. Opposing forwards, the forward position, have actually cooked so far versus Chicago. We just saw Derek Hammy drop 43 fantasy points versus them. Natasha Howard dropped 30 fantasy points, so definitely do like the upside in the position. Now, Brianna Stewart, she only played 25 minutes, but did put up a fantasy point per minute, 26 fantasy points in that game. So AT, definitely don't mind that. And gives you a little bit of savings coming down from Sabally. Sabally, still a great spot for her, but I will say I'm going to go with a little bit of the value that I can get from Alyssa Thomas and take her right there. Outside of that, Tina Charles is the GPP option to me. Just the upside, because we've seen it. Opposing bigs, scoring bigs versus Dallas have cooked. If you're going to tell me she can come out here and take 20 plus shots, I will definitely hop, skip, and jump and run to be able to play that and take that. The upside is definitely going to be there for her. Angel Reese, good spot for her. Opposing bigs actually have done pretty decent versus Phoenix as well. But now outside of that, coming down into our mid-tier options and stuff when we get from up there into that high 9K range. Brianna Jones, I do like her, like the upside that we could possibly get, especially because Brittany Griner is going to be out and Jonquil Jones. Both those guys definitely in consideration as lower tier studs that you can get to. But coming down here, Jessica Shepard, Gabby Williams, Ezzy Mamigor, Nalissa Smith, Big T if she starts. All of those guys are definitely in play and stuff that I want to pay attention to and get some notes on. Out of this whole group right here, Big T, if she's going to get the start, would just be miles above everybody for me. Then after that, it's going to be Gabby Williams, would be where I would rank that right there. Coming down a little bit more in regards to it, Fag Bentley, I'm not too interested in too many of the Golden State Valkyrie forwards, especially not the Fag Bentley, not the Thornton and stuff like that. Instead, I would rather, if I was going to play any of those, would be coming down to Salon, who's at 4.9. That's where I would rather get my value at and come down to if you were wanting to mess with something like that. But to me, instead of playing Thornton, instead of playing the Fag Bentley, if you don't want to mess with Tina Charles, Olivia Nelson Adota sitting there at that 6K price range in a plus matchup. I love the upside, and I think it's going to be really great. Only thing is she has to play the minutes. Again, Biggs versus Dallas is cooked. We just got to get those minutes right there for her. So looking at it so far, I really feel like that's going to be everything for me in regards to like my main things that I'm looking at and whatnot over here for the slate. For how I'm planning on building, I gave you literally the main value and just the questions and the answers that I got to have answered in regards to the slate. That's just the way that I'm seeing it, just the way that I'm eyeballing it. Good luck to everybody that is playing today. Player pool, core, and all that stuff will be out a little bit later on today. Hey, somebody's got to take down that 20K. Peace.